when you came in, I think, in 2021,
Yeah.
in the heart of COVID, they had an occupancy fairly similar to when we started.
Me, Dan.
Yeah, that was about it. Yeah, but back in 2000 when Greg called me and he said, look, this place is up for sale, and do you remember it? And I vaguely remembered some fairly down at heel campsite. I said, well, yeah. I said, well, how big is it? And he told me, I said, how much is it? And he said, well, they haven't asked for a price. So I said, well, what do we know about it? How sensible is this? And he said, well, I don't know. I said, have you got any money? He said, no. I said, I've got a bit. Anyway, so I said, look, put in an offer just a couple of dollars above what you think is completely derisory, and see how it goes. But also find the P&Ls and the occupancy figures for me. And he called me an hour later and told me the occupancy figures. And I remember he said it was 8. I said, does that mean 8% occupancy, or there was a pause, or 8 people? And he said, well, I think it's about the same thing. And then a little later on in the day, I mean, I'd sort of largely discounted it. He said, look, they've accepted the offer. So, yeah. And yeah, you start with 5 staff.
Yeah.
And no flushing toilets, no running water, no electricity.
Yeah.
And yeah, a couple of vehicles which weren't reliable. And yeah, it was a very, very different setup. No storage, no refrigeration. And that's how it started. And so, yeah, it's been desperately hard.
Yeah.
Critically, though, it's independent. The same 2 who started it are still there.
Yeah.
Rather than, I mean, I get it. People sell them. They sell them to anything from competitors to big, I don't know, corporate venture capitalists, whatever it is. The only thing I'd say is I make no criticism of people who do that. They work very hard. They want, they want to enjoy their retirement, whatever it is, but don't expect it to be the same.
Yeah.
Of course it isn't.
No,
and that doesn't matter whether it's a boutique hotel, a camp, or whatever the business is. The moment it's sold, I always think it can lose some of its soul. And they always say, oh, but you can stay on. Nonsense.
And the thing is, that is one of the things we love most about it. It's why it got so quickly into our top safari camp we'd ever been to, is just actually the feel of the camp, the feel of the staff, and the sort of this like generational staff that have been there with you forever.
Yeah, they really have. And I think a key thing with staff is don't teach them what they already know. Don't micromanage. Don't, staff do not flourish if they're forever having to be picked up on or what they were wearing, or have to go to meetings, or get on and do your job. And if you're good at it, just get better at it. There's always been my view. I'm not going to go up to what people, Patrick, Coriata, James.
Kennedy, and tell him how to smile.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to tell a guide like Charles or Patrick or James or Jimmy how to guide or how to drive. This is their backyard. So there's always got to be that respect there. But also the other thing is, I think guests feel such investment in the places. They've seen us grow, but also they know we've not gone riding off into the sunset, and I think that makes a huge difference. And my partner Greg, he does what I can't do. I can't sit in board meetings of conservancies for hour upon hour on end. I really can't. And also you have to deal with jealousies, huge jealousies, and people wanting what you have.
Yeah, and people wanting into the conservancy. I mean, if you look at the model of the conservancy and how well it's working in terms of low-density tourism, it's a completely different ballgame to looking at the actual reserve.
Well, I've always, not just the reserve. There isn't a model like it in Africa.
No, there isn't.
There just isn't.
Surprising, because actually it seems.
I know. You would think everyone benefits.
Yeah.
The conservancies benefit. The 2-legged and 4.
Yeah.
So you would think it's a perfect model, but unfortunately, you'll always have governments or councils who don't like it because they think we're stealing what they want to steal. Yeah. And nothing could be further from the truth. And also, back in the day, I think a day or 2 days after, in 2000, when it came up for sale, I rang 5 or 6 people I knew who worked in the city and said, what do you think about this? What do you think about, investing in? And they were unanimous. It was a big fat no, which was pretty much what I wanted to hear. So anybody who mistakenly thought, oh, you did this as a nest egg, as your financial future, I mean, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with it.
Oh, no, it's risky.
Nothing to do with it. I did it because, and still as driven now as ever, because I wanted to be the best at it.
Yeah.